What's going on, everybody? It's Mahoney. The Tuesday tips are back. I did Tuesday tips forever, and then I got out of the habit because I started talking to you guys all every morning. Well, the Tuesday tips are back. And my Gizmo is messing up. Now it's okay. So here's my new office. Everybody see we got the new downtown building that we redid. We got an atrium over here. It's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about insurance coverage. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again because we run into this so often. I have seen so many wrecks over the past couple of weeks and couple of months where people do not have sufficient coverage. All right, so I'm going to explain. I'm going to show you my policies. Show you I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to explain what this is. Okay, so here's my automobile policy. There it is right there. And underneath you can see that I have liability, uninsured, underinsured. And that number is in thousands. So it's 1,000. So it's 1,000,000. So I have 1,000,000 of liability, I have 1,000,000 of uninsured, and I have 1,000,000 of underinsured insurance coverage. So what does all that mean? So liability is if I get into a wreck and I injure somebody else, then I have $1,000,000 in coverage. And anybody that has any assets in your name, even if they're retirement assets, you should have that amount of insurance coverage. Number one, because it'll buy you a lot of peace. I mean, $1,000,000 is a chunk of money, and it'll buy you a lot of peace. And when people get in financially difficult times, one of the areas that we cut is insurance coverage. Well, but if you have assets and you badly injure somebody, which I mean is easy to do in bad weather, we get those rainy nights in October, we get dark nights like tonight. You pull out in front of somebody, if somebody's on a bike, or like in late fall we had nice weather, if somebody's on a motorcycle, all of a sudden you badly injure somebody, they're a quadriplegic or out of work for a year. Well, if you've got 250, 500, you got 250,000 limits. That's just not good. I mean, it's so easy to get $150,000 in medical bills now. You can't even believe it. And if you're sitting on some assets, you might be writing checks out of your own pocket in order to make that case go away. But it's not just that. If you look here, then I have uninsured, underinsured coverage. What that means is that protects me in the event that somebody hits me and they don't have enough insurance. Uninsured means they have zero insurance. Underinsured means they have insurance, but it's not enough. I had 4 motorcycle wrecks, 3 in the same intersection in Winnebago County this fall, where people were badly injured, and there's not enough insurance coverage. Had they had this, they would have had $1,000,000 on their own policy that they could have gone after to have insurance coverage. There's been a bunch of rear end wrecks. And then I had a wreck with a grandma and 2 grandkids. Bad wreck. A car went through a stop sign, T-boned them, and the kids were terribly hurt. And if they would have had this coverage, it's $1,000,000 per person. So those kids would have been taken care of in terms, they have several $100,000 in medical bills that are now, the parents worry because there isn't enough insurance coverage. But then if you have assets even beyond that, or in my opinion, even just to be responsible, then you have this. This is what's called an umbrella coverage. And you see I buy my insurance from Pekin. So all these insurance guys that say all I want to do is sue them, I'm now being your biggest advertiser right now. Pekin and MetLife are the companies that I've traditionally bought from. This is what's called an umbrella policy. So it acts like an umbrella over top of everything. So it's in addition. So this is a $2 million umbrella. So that means in addition to the liability of $1,000,000, I have another $2 million umbrella. And in addition to the $1,000,000 of uninsured, underinsured, I have another $2 million. That means if somebody injures me but doesn't kill me, because I got a ton of life insurance, but they take me out of work for a year, my family's going to be taken care of. It also means that if for some reason I got in a horrible wreck and I injured somebody really badly, I have $3 million in coverage. Okay? That's going to protect my assets. And this stuff doesn't cost that much. This additional policy cost me, I'll show you what my bill is. That additional policy, where's it at? Cost me $515 for a year. $2 million of additional coverage for $500. Less than $50 a month. That is crazy if you do not do that. If you have assets or if you've got a family that you have to take care of, you are nuts if you don't buy $1 million policies and get umbrellas. You can get a $250, $500 policy with $1 million umbrella. That means you got $1.5 million of liability coverage and $1.5 million of uninsured, underinsured coverage. That's good coverage. That will buy you a lot of peace, and that will also protect you in the event that you get in a wreck and the other person doesn't have enough insurance and it's their fault. And folks, I see it all the time. People get in these terrible wrecks and they don't have enough insurance on the other side. And if they had these coverages, they would be able to take care of their medical bills, take care of their expenses, take care of the compensation that they should receive, and not have to worry about the fact that the person on the other side wasn't as responsible as they were. Look at your insurance policies. Take out, these are called deck sheets, declaration sheets. Call up your agent. Tell them you want to look at your liability. Tell them you want to look at your uninsured, underinsured. Tell them you want at least $1 million. You want $250, $500 with $1 million umbrella. They should want to sell you these policies. And if you have any assets whatsoever, you should do this. I talked to my ex-wife the other week, and her husband, she's remarried. He hopped on the phone and he said, "Thank you for the insurance bill." And I said, "I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about." Well, they went and met with their insurance agent, and he's a physician, medical researcher. And the insurance guys, they started cutting, "Oh, you don't need this, you don't need this." And my ex-wife said, No, you need this and this and this and this. And he goes, "Well, that's going to cost a lot of money." And she goes, "Well, unfortunately for you, I used to be married to a personal injury lawyer, and I know that we need all this coverage." And she was right. She sees what happens when you don't get all this coverage. So take a look at your policies, and get yourself an umbrella policy. Believe me, if you, God forbid, ever end up in one of these wrecks, you'll be glad that you did. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday.